Good morning. It's the 30th of March, Monday,
Yes.
and we'll look back the week after, and then we'll look the week ahead.
Yeah.
And it's a slow week.
Yep.
And a lot of people in the street, I wonder if you have noticed, they have PRSS.
PRSS?
Yes.
I don't know, what is that?
Do you have PRSS?
No, I've been familiar with some people around me that have had PMS, but I think that's completely different.
It's,
What's PRSS?
Post
Yeah?
Rugby 7 syndrome.
Ah. Yeah. Well, you know what? For the second year in a row, I had a sober sevens weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was out camping with the Scouts, and we went so far away from Hong Kong city center that our light pollution was from Shenzhen.
Oh.
I'm not kidding. Like, literally from this campground, if you went to one part of it, you could see Shenzhen's tallest skyscraper. We were, like, way out. Went to Shengshui, didn't see any parallel traders, and then took a taxi from there out to the campgrounds.
All right.
Yeah, but I did not. No, but all I saw was a New Zealand flag flying off a balcony today.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like I just completely missed the whole thing.
Okay, so if you have post Rugby 7 syndrome,
Yeah.
this is the show to watch.
Yeah.
Because it's the political cappuccino.
That's right, yeah.
To boost your clear mind.
That's right. That's right. If you were partying all week, don't worry. We'll get you caught up on the politics and get your head clear.
Yes.
Okay.
However,
Yes.
we only have a 4-day week this week. Friday is holiday, right?
Yes.
The
Yeah,
bank
yeah.
is not open.
That's right. Well,
But we'll talk about that in the week ahead.
yeah, there's
in
a
our
little
next show.
preview. We're going to talk about, I think maybe Friday, we'll have to talk about the holidays.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Tune in then.
The week before.
The week before. Okay, first of all, one of the big stories of the week was our chief executive trying to get the jump or get his name, trying to get ahead of the curve and command the use of the term universal suffrage. This is a long tradition in politics. If your enemy owns ground that you need to hold, you try to get in there and redefine things, right? And, so for example, in the U.S., I think it was George Bush that came up with the wildly successful term compassionate conservatism, because they were accused of being conservative and having no heart. And they said, oh, no. So they came up with a new term, compassionate conservatism. Our chief executive is trying something similar, but unfortunately he didn't come up with a clever new phrase. He just tried to put an kind of bizarre definition on a phrase that is pretty much already owned by the pan-democratic camp by trying to redefine universal suffrage.
The pan-democrat has been yelling genuine universal suffrage or real universal suffrage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And C.Y. Leung, our chief executive, said that the only real universal suffragists are the one who is governed by the local laws.
Whatever those laws may be, whatever the source of the legitimacy may be, and unfortunately, if you're going to go into somebody else's turf, you better be ready for battle. And I think they pretty much on the spot managed to, take him down at the Q&A. That was pretty bad when they said, they were like, oh, you mean like North Korea? And he went, oh yeah, like North Korea. Oh my goodness, leader of a free people does not.
He didn't say yes.
Wow.
He said basically, as long as the current laws permit in that jurisdiction, then it is their form of universal suffrage or their form of elections.
Which may technically be correct, but I mean, if you're the leader of a people that see themselves as somewhat free, North Korea is not. You immediately want to distance yourself from anything related to North Korea. I think Barbie and Toy Story nailed it better than our chief executive did last week. Toy Story 3, when she said the source of legitimacy comes from the people. And
well,
so
I
that wasn't a
think
great
he is trying to battle. The real battle is actually individual nomination of chief executive elections candidates, and he said that UK does not have individual citizens nomination, but you still call that a real democracy.
Yeah,
I think that's how it off tangent from that point.
Yeah. So first tip, kind of classic political tool is to kind of recapture the language, right? And if that doesn't work, muddy the language, make things as unclear as possible, and that I think has been used many times in Hong Kong. And but I don't think it's going to be successful. People are pretty clear about the issues at this point.
What I suggest is that both the pan-democrats and the pro-establishment, including the administration, just forget about foreign examples. I mean, you guys are not that familiar with the foreign examples anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, can we just say, okay, forget about the current example, focus on the situation in Hong Kong? Can we get that passed? I mean, that's the ultimate question. If not,
Yeah.
I mean, why quote other examples? I mean,
well, I think that the players are reasonably familiar with other examples, but their audience is not. And so they're talking over their audience's head, and it muddies the issue. And I think, ultimately, as you've said, we got to build something for the people of Hong Kong.
Yep.
Something they find acceptable. So, chief executive, if you're going to use the first technique of recapturing the language, you got to come up with something new and clever, like compassionate conservatism, which 10 years later wasn't so effective, but it worked really well for the short period of time it was meant to work. So he needs to find something more creative like that. Generally, in universal suffrage, you aren't going to take that back. You got to come up with something new, and his advisors need to get to work on that.
But there can be a lot of terms. There can be
but you got to get creative. Just not the strong point in that office. So we'll see how they do on that, but muddying the waters, they're pretty good at. So that was one of the big news stories, whether or not the chief executive can recapture the language. Not to turn all of Hong Kong to kind of come along with him. He only needs to take in another 15-20% in public opinion to really, probably move things ahead. So he just needs that little bit of an advancement. He just needs some small gains. Political advisory of the week. The other thing was this whole weird thing with Maria Tam at this 25th anniversary of the Basic Law and speaking out about ATV.
And DBC.
And DBC. Yeah. And, it came...
Digital Broadcasting Company.
Yeah, and it came...
They have an office there,
Where? Close by?
To
where we are?
In the same building of Now TV.
Okay. So everybody's... that's how media goes, right? Yeah. They're all in the same buildings here and there. And a lot of people heard, what? Particularly ATV. Oh, we should be supporting ATV? And then she came back and clarified.
Oh, she clarifies.
Yeah?
She said that she did mention DBC and ATV. But she said she just wishes that they will have healthy growth.
Yeah.
She didn't say that we should directly support them.
And so she made that clarification, but it kind of raises a broader issue that we can look at in terms of this. And I don't want to get too metaphysical on you, but love builds and hate destroys. ATV, right? It needs some love if it is going to grow. You cannot grow ATV without love. And all these, if it's the pro-Beijing thing, where is all the pro-Beijing money flooding in for advertising to support this pro-Beijing thing and keep it going? Nobody's doing it. And even all the pro-Beijing people with money are not getting out there to support this turkey.
But you know what? If I was DBC, or if I were DBC, I would feel quite unhappy.
Why is that?
Because Maria is comparing ATV with DBC.
Yeah, I know. I don't want that.
We are DBC. We are not ATV.
Yeah,
we are not even close.
Get that off of me. Don't put that ATV on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so they don't.
If I were DBC, I won't feel any happier about this.
No, they don't want that at all. They don't want that at all. But like I said, love builds, hate destroys. I think HKTV now, everyone, it's just every time, we go through a round of discussion about our television stations, it just becomes so much more apparent that HKTV really has the moral high ground, the financial high ground, the everything, but there's a lot of love behind it.
They're losing viewerships as well. That's the problem. Yeah. So.
But they got to fight to get in there, and I think, love may carry the day, but hate can't build. Hate can only destroy things. They can try to pull something down. They're pretty good at that, but they can't build something, which is why ATV is still struggling because there's nobody loves it, right? So
that's true.
That's my.
All right.
So those are two issues for last week.
Okay, so you've mentioned CY and you've mentioned Maria Tam. You forgot the person of the week last week. The person of the week last week?
No. Fashion icon Joshua Wong and his new modeling career? No? Okay.
Lee Kuan Yew.
Oh, yeah, of course, Lee Kuan Yew. Absolutely, Lee Kuan Yew. Harvard Times, we wrote our big op-ed about it this week, and we're relaunching our print edition. I don't think I told you that. It'll come back mid-April, and we're going to save it for that, but our subscribers can get to our write-up about Lee Kuan Yew. Basic point, you can't make Hong Kong into Singapore. Two reasons. Hong Kong is not Singapore of the 1960s, number one, and number two, our conditions will never produce a Lee Kuan Yew. All right, I don't know how much time we have to talk about that, but Singapore in the 1960s was fearful. They were looking at a bleak economic future and afraid of what could happen to them. Race riots, and then out of that came a politician who had already been battle scarred in politics under the British. under the Japanese, under the Malays, and then, they got kicked out of Singapore,
yes,
and he rose up to kind of...
That's why Lee Kuan Yew is the fighter.
Yeah, and I mean, he was produced by very unique circumstances that do not exist in Hong Kong today and will not at any time in the foreseeable future. So I don't think you can make Hong Kong into Singapore because we are a different city and we're never going to produce a Lee Kuan Yew. Those two things don't exist. Go read the op-ed for the details. But that even goes on today. There's still...
Well, and for one thing, the context is completely different.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Singapore as a jurisdiction is an independent jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Whereas in Hong Kong, we as a jurisdiction is a special administrative region which have to report to the mainland. So,
yes. Yeah.
So for that, we will have different types of leaders.
Yeah. And I mean, the kind of things that Lee Kuan Yew did in Singapore, I think at some level there was a broader acceptance of them because A, people were afraid of the alternatives, but B, because they always knew that Lee Kuan Yew was for Singapore. I don't know if people here have, they always question that about our chief executive because he has to answer to two masters.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Very tough.
The chief executive is always a middleman.
Yeah.
By definition. Yeah, by definition, the one country, two systems.
We have an executive-led government.
We must
led
have
by
a middleman. Yeah. So, and as you know, all middlemen will be grinded by both sides.
Torn and ground.
It's by design.
Yeah.
It's by design. So we won't have a Lee Kuan Yew because Lee Kuan Yew won't make a good chief executive.
Yeah. Our
for
chief
here.
Executive. Yes. Yeah.
Even Lee Kuan Yew landed this post.
Oh, yeah.
He won't be able to master it. It's a very difficult post.
So the underlying message from all that is don't try to make Hong Kong into Singapore.
Exactly.
It's not going to work. Economically vibrant, politically docile, Hong Kong's not going to go there. Don't try. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Go read the op-ed.
All right. Thank you for watching.
And that was the week that was.
Cheers.
Cheers.